All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Today, we're going to take a look at trait 60. We're going to take a look at the pressure of change and acceptance. So this is January 19th, 2021, and this is episode number 88. So again, what we're going to be taking a look at is the pressure of change and acceptance. So before we jump in and get started, I'd like to say hello to our panel, and I'm going to start off with our very, very special guest. So welcome to Juan Jose. He's one of our instructors here at the BG5 Business Institute, and he teaches the courses in Spanish, and you have a course coming up as well. And Juan Jose worked with Rob really from, sort of the beginning of bringing out this information. And so it is such an honor to have you here with us, Juan Jose. Would you love to say hello and anything you would like to say to everyone?
Hello, thank you, Karen. Thanks for the invitation, and thanks for the other panelists, and thanks for the people. I don't know, you say that this is live in Facebook, no? I don't know how it works, but maybe we can see, we can understand in a few moments. Yes, I'm very happy to be here, and we comment and how alone we comment. We will talk with you.
Yes, beautiful. It is so great to have you join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hello to Natalie. Hey, Natalie, welcome.
Yay, glad to be here. And we're almost there, guys. Tomorrow is the energetic new year. That's all we will talk about today.
Yes, exactly. Well, the 21st, actually, technically. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My mind is a mess. Too much pressure.
Exactly.
All of this week was a lot of pressure, yes.
And so welcome, Natalie. Great to have you here. And welcome, Anna.
Hi, glad to be here. And yes, there's a lot going on.
Yes.
All kinds of things.
And of course, it wouldn't be BG5 Live without Moxie. She leaves me alone. And as soon as I start BG5 Live, she has to be a part of it as well. All right, beautiful. Well, welcome everyone who is live in our Facebook. Welcome everyone who's live in our Zoom room. And welcome to everyone who is watching via the recording as well. So as Natalie mentioned, there's a lot of pressure going on. So again, the pressure for change and acceptance. Trait 60 is what we're going to take a look at today. I'm going to quickly go through this and then I'm going to get to the next slide because we're really, that's where we're really focused. So just kind of, again, this whole January has been a lot of pressure. Most of it is the pressure from drive and stamina. Again, we had the 61. Last week when we had the mental pressure, now we have the pressure of acceptance, and this is the acceptance of limitation. This is also the pressure to mutate, the pressure to change, which is also there as well. And this is leading us up to the Rave New Year, which is on the 21st. So it's in a couple days, which is the Dreamer, the start code on. So finally being able to start this year. So I wanted to just kind of go through and taking a look at wrapping up, and we'll talk more about actually the 41 next week because we'll be in the 41 next week. But just what to look for and prepare you for in the 4 stages of beginning the new cycle. There's a total of 5, which is the last one is the 21st. This is the 4th stage that we're in beginning a new cycle. And this is, in a sense, completion. The 60 is also the old before we move into the new. So wrapping everything up. Again, recommend reading the article that Natalie wrote in these steps, these 5 stages of entering into the new year. So we took a look at Christmas, right? December 25th. That's where we're in the 58 of the Joyous Vitality. We took a look at the first stage. The first stage was during the new year, right? January 1st, we're in the 38 of the fighter. This is where we're taking a look at meaning and purpose and spirit. This is tension when we enter into the calendar new year. So it really is not the best time to start your New Year's resolution. It really is a time to look back and say, did my life have meaning? Did I have purpose? Was I in the right spirit in the last year? So it's really evaluating the old before we step into the new. We took a look at the who. We took a look at stage 2, the second week in January, taking a look at ambition, right? The allies that uplift, inspire, and support you. So who were your allies in the past year, but also who are your potential allies moving forward into the new year that will support you in fulfilling your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions, etc. All right, so phase 2 or stage 2 was the who. Last week, we took a look at the what. So stage 3 was all about assessment, your inspiration, your inner knowing, your truth. Remember, we took a look at the 61 last week, which was taking a look at your inner truth. What we're going to take a look at today as we continue through the pressure is this stage 4 of the how. And part of the how is about letting go. It's about accepting, in a sense, limitation, and it's letting go of your monkey mind. It's accepting your limitations, but it's also about accepting your brilliance as well. So that's what we're going to take a look at with the 60 of limitation. However, we're also going to tap into the win as well, since the win is happening in a few days. So the win is the beginning of the new cycle. Remember, the 41 is the start codon. So January 21st, so not tomorrow, but the following day, is when we enter into the Rave New Year. Also, we have a Rave Marathon. I'm going to be speaking at the Rave Marathon, so I encourage all of you to join as well, because it's going to be an exciting list of speakers in the human design realm. I think there's 3 days or 4 days of speakers and music and amazing stuff. So we'll post a link to that as well. So if you could post a link to that as well, Natalie, that would be great. In taking a look at joining and celebrating the Rave New Year. So it's part of what we're going to be talking about today. Now, before I continue and before we dive into taking a look at this stage 4, I just wanted to check in with our panel and just see if there's anything that you would like to add as we continue to move forward. And again, we're going to focus specifically today on stage 4. We'll also take a look at what we're moving into as well with the new year. So anything that any of you would like to add? Should we just go ahead and get started into stage 4? Then we can discuss it from there.
He sent me the other day arrived me the information of the birthday of Muhammad Ali, the boxer, the famous champion box. And he was in these days, I understand he has this 60, his purpose. And when I saw this information, I remind that many people that has this information about the 60s say, you confront your limitation. Muhammad Ali was living in Harlem, or I think in a small and difficult environment, but he faced this limitation and this barrier, and he understand always how to pass this barrier, no? And this is the we found these two people, no, or these kind of people that when they confront the barrier, they go, oh, it's impossible, I can't do it, it's not possible. Or the other thing that is the other way, that is, well, this is the barrier, how can I go through the barrier? And it was a great example, Muhammad Ali, of this. How can I pass my limitation?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're going to talk about today too, is kind of just what Juan Jose just spoke about, is that we think of limitations as being very limited, but it's almost as if when you can accept the limitation, you can also have the ability to transcend that limitation as well. And, and part of it is that letting go. And that's part of what we're looking at in this next stage of this stage of acceptance. It's how to let go. We have the tension of the why, we have the ambition of the who, we have the assessment of the what. When we take a look at this stage 4 of letting go and acceptance, just like Juan Jose was talking about, it's how you prepare yourself to finally take that first step into the new year free and clear of the past. And how you do that is by letting go. Right. Oftentimes we sometimes can be so focused on whatever our limitation is that it limits us. And in a sense, often letting go also leads to being able to transcend whatever that limitation happens to be. So what are we letting go of? We're letting go of our monkey mind that holds us back and makes us feel insecure. We're letting go of the past, right? Many of us had a challenging year last year. So how can we let that go to transcend that limitation to move forward into the future? Letting go of what didn't work, keeping that which has worked and letting go of what doesn't work. Also being ready to take a step forward to transcend your limitations. Exactly what Juan Jose was saying. And the moment that you can accept limitations, they no longer exist. It's an interesting paradox there, is that, sometimes, again, when we see the limitation, just as Juan Jose was saying, we feel like it's impossible. We can't move forward. And it's amazing the magic that can happen when we can let go and accept. And it also gives us that ability to step forward and also transcend those limitations as well. I would love to hear from Anna in what you see, or how you see this next step as we're in this trait 60 currently.
Well, I have a great example. Yesterday, I had to make a decision about something, and this decision's been pending a long time. It's something I really, really wanted to do, and it's still on the agenda, but the timing and the resources were off. Even though I had expected everything to fall in place, they didn't. So I had to accept the limitation. And, there's a certain amount of grief and all this, but I realized that what you let go of is sort of the density of your thinking, or the anticipation that you have to have something or have to do something. The pressure is a natural urge to keep moving and stay alive and be fruitful in whatever way. But when you meet up with the world not cooperating with you, or you not cooperating with your own design, you get these limitations. Things don't work the way you want them to. But the letting go is not so much of the thing itself, but of the density about, I have to do it this way. This has to happen this way. And the mutation is in freeing up the energy. And when I realized, okay, I can do this thing later. And then the next thing occurred to me. It's like, now I have this other opportunity, just fell right in. And to me, this letting go has always been sort of an oxymoron to me, because it's this letting and pushing at the same time, which is what pressure is. So I like to to sort of frame it in, it's letting loose, because our bodies get real tight about what, I got to move forward. And the depression that comes with not being able to move forward is embodied in all this pressure and thinking you can't move and can't do anything, and all the defeat of possible defeat or downward movement of that. But if in this sort of loosening, you can loosen your body, you can stretch out energetically, physically, mentally, all those things. So in the just sort of looking at what is, here's the finances, here's the timing, here's the people involved, here's the thing itself, whatever all is going on, if you just go through the steps that we've just been through, the tension, the ambition, the assessment, what is as is, then it's easier to go, this energy is not stagnant. There's not a stuck. There's not an impossibility here. It's just in the loosening up of my thinking, of my body, and then the energy itself moves on.
Wow. Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Wow. And Lisa is saying human design is stunning in its accuracy, and I love how clear you are. Yeah, really beautiful. How about for you, Natalie?
Well, we're diving into the Trade 60 right now, but I don't know if I want to say it here or with the slide actually, but it is about understanding not to fight whatever the limitation is, because it's not worth fighting for, because you're just trying to be who you are not, right? And then accepting the limitation, which in and of itself is really beautiful, because that's what you're made for, right? So, and then going with what you haven't, and in accepting who you are, which is your limitation. You only have the colored parts in your design. In accepting who you are, that's where you can transcend the limitation, because you do it your way instead of whatever you wanted. And
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Natalie. We all have our own limitation, right? Based on our own design, we only have 26 traits. We only have 13 conscious and 13 unconscious. That's it, right? And some of them repeat many times. So we do have a limitation in, what our design is and what we're designed to do, and also being able to accept what we are not here to do. So limitation, and once you can, in a sense, let go of trying to do all of the things that you're really not designed to do, right? That's where the magic happens, you to really be who you want to be. And with that, let me go through the acceptance piece and trait 60, as Natalie was talking about, and then we can dive into this a bit deeper. So when we take a look at trait 60 of acceptance, right, it's the pulsing pressure to mutate and change. This is individual. It's all about mutation and change. This is also a format trait within a format strength, where it's a pulsating pressure. It's not there, it's not there, it's not there, it's there. And, it's kind of interesting in acceptance, the acceptance of limitation. There's the limitation of it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And then boom, when you let it go, suddenly it's there. Suddenly you know, right? That's how this mutative pulse operates. So this is the acceptance of limitation, and the acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence. This is what Juan Jose was talking about earlier. And this is the space between where mutation takes place. So it's very interesting that there's sort of this space between the end and then beginning something new, right? So every beginning, is prefaced by an ending, and every ending then brings forth a new beginning. And mutation is released in limited amounts. That's what I was talking about. It's not there, it's not there, it's not there, it's there. So mutation doesn't happen consistently. It's released in limited amounts, and it's released in unexpected ways, and oftentimes when you least expect it as well. And the full creative potential is released in an instant. As I was saying before, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. In an instant, it's there. And it's pulsing that was not there and now is. And you never know when it may occur, right? So in a sense, the acceptance of what is allows you, in a sense, to accept whatever the pressure is until it's there. And again, sometimes, it can be a surprise. I put, I put an old tree trunk and then we see something new arising from it. Because the 60 also represents the old, but it's also the continuity to birth what is new. And so it's at this precipice of completing the old and then the mutation for beginning the new. And when you plant a seed, right, it's underground. You can't see it. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening until it breaches the soil. And all of a sudden you see it and something's happening. So this is what I think of when I think of this trait of 60 and acceptance. So Juan Jose, yes, yeah, please.
Our limitation is our differentiation, as Natalie said. Our limitation is our differentiation. You usually take these images of the puzzle, the big puzzle, to understand that we are a piece of this puzzle, and this puzzle has his limitation because he's different. And when we try to do what we are not designed to do, we confront the limitation, and the life put this barrier to show us that we are different. We cannot do all the things, but what we can do, but here is our ego, where big ego is here, and the mind, we could talk about the monkey mind and our ego, and we want to do all, but we can do what we can do only. And that's other thing is that say when we accept this limitation, we can do what we can with what we have. This is other thing. If our ego goes down and we are humble, we can do what we can with what we have. This is more, the piece important to accept. And when you do that, what you have, you are expressing this differentiation. You are expressing this piece, a special piece that has a special place in the puzzle to put. No? And that start with this. Start with accepting this limitation.
Yeah, I love that analogy of the puzzle. We often use it in our training as well. So brilliantly spoken, Juan Jose, because we have our particular piece in the puzzle, right? And if the puzzle is standing alone, you can't quite see exactly what the puzzle is. And if a piece of the puzzle is missing, it's very obvious that something is missing. And when that piece is put in the exact right place, right, that's where the whole picture starts to come into play. So accepting the limitation of being the puzzle piece, not being the entire puzzle, but also the acceptance that you are a piece of puzzle in the whole, and that you are important, and your difference, your differentiation, your design is designed for a specific place in a specific role that nobody else can fill but you. And like I said, when that puzzle piece is missing, right, you can really tell that it's missing from a puzzle. Yeah, beautifully said, Juan Jose. Thank you so much.
I'd like to jump in again
Yes, please.
and address this space between, because I think this is just fabulous. Because when we're talking about design, we're talking about form and function, which is the magic and the limitation. And the design, our design, we are designed to function a certain way, which our form sort of dictates that. And yet our creativity, that energy, our decisions are what are creative, mutative, what, how we live. And this space in between, we think of dark and light as two things, but the in between is where those two things meet. And that's a gray area. And that's where there's a lot of juice in this gray, shadowy area. And in BG5, that's exactly a place of resource if we know how to accept it, if we know how to use it, if we know what the function of that shadowy unknown is, and if we use this 60 either through transits or if we have it in our own design or somebody bridges you somehow, you go into that in-between place that a lot of people, it's scary sometimes because you don't know, and then boom, something else like, oh, cool, or whatever, So this in-between zone is a really rich place. And in BG5, that's what we utilize to help people in their career and in their life work.
Yep, exactly. Beautifully said, Anna. Would you like to add anything, Natalie?
I was about to say something along those lines, and it was a way better phrase by Anna. No, so
okay.
The thing is that it is a creative potential, right? And it is individual energy, and that may be what you are sensing right now. Like it's not happening, and you're kind of waiting for it to be there, and maybe you're trying to look for it, but you can't because it's not happening. It's not happening until that's when it happens. And creativity, you cannot plan creativity. It comes when it's there. And that's also in essence the limitation in and of itself. You have to surrender. You have to let go. You have to surrender and accept when it comes. And when it's not there, just be.
Yeah. And that's a great example. This is probably something that many of you may be feeling right now. It's like, okay, nothing's happening, or I don't know. Like you're on the edge of your seat waiting for something to happen. And again, it's kind of that acceptance that it will happen when it happens. Yeah, beautifully said, Natalie. Did you want to add something, Juan Jose?
Yes, the sense of opportunity, because when it happened, because we don't control this, when can happen or not, and the sense, being an emotional people, an emotional person, me, also confront this limitation that the mind and also the emotions takes you to the, no, I want to this happen now in this moment, but it could not be in this moment because we don't control of the mechanism of the puzzle, what that we say in the moment, no? And in a moment. And this acceptance of limitation brings you to the opportunity for the moment, the present moment that that is represent in this this trait in the 60s, in the now, no, the moment in the now. This is the opportunity. In the now is the opportunity when you can accept in this moment the opportunity. You can take this opportunity when show up. The artist, there is a a sentence that the artist usually said, a famous artist, I think is in Spanish, drawing. He said, when the inspiration come, I want to take me working. Because you want to work sometime, but the inspiration don't come and you don't do nothing, only losing your time. But if you are in the place, in the working place, with the hands in the place, no, in this moment happen this inspiration, this moment of creation. If you are working, you can take this opportunity.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you, Juan Jose. Right. So, so it actually leads really beautiful, and Anna also talked about this as well. If we take a look at what quality we're in, this quality is the quality 4, which is the influencer. This is about resourcefulness. Right. So the resourcefulness to deal with the limitation that you have. And the reason I put a Swiss Army knife here is because it's like, okay, it's small, right? It has its limitations, but, you know, all of the different things that it can do, you know, and being resourceful, just like what Juan Jose was saying, you know, being, you know, waiting for that moment of the opportunity to come, and being able to be resourceful with what you have and accepting that limitation. So the elevation is the maximization of potential within limitation. So maximizing your potential even with the limitation, and the reasoned and intelligent maximization of the potential within limitation. So actually realizing what potential there is within the limitation when you can accept the limitation. Even when we have our own decision-making strategy, right? Our own decision-making strategy, in a sense, is our own limitation, which also helps us with the timing, like Juan Jose was talking about the timing as well, right? So it's our limitation, but it also gives us the right decision at the right time. Now, the challenge here is the energy to know rather than to accept limitation. So you know there's limitation, but you don't accept it. So the energy to know rather than accept limitation at the expense of possible mutation. This can lead to depression, right? Because you know you know the limitation, but you're not accepting it. A tendency in times of limitation to seek the inner meaning of the restriction rather than using its gifts to find a harmonic application within the limitation. So the former leads to withdrawal and the later leads to transcendence. Right. So again, if you can utilize the gifts of the limitation, you can actually transcend whatever the limitation is.
Oh, now I miss Chris. Chris, if you hear this, I miss you. So, because Chris has such a beautiful way of expressing how in general psychology, right? They're looking for the inner meaning of that restriction and what is the problem, and diving deep, and trying to get to the whatever of it, right? And maybe there is nothing, maybe it's just not happening at the moment, right? Instead of accepting that there is this limitation and focusing on your true gifts, right? On using the gift to find that harmonic, which is what we do in BG5. And working with individuals, so that the whole the different approach of the two in looking at a situation of depression, for instance, right, is so, and I speak from experience here, is tremendously different. So
Yes.
there's a case study on the website about my personal process, but I've had some depressions over time, right? And all has to do with my design, and so obvious once you know how it operates. So for those of you knowing a little bit, I have my only strength is the 50-9, which is very focused, concentrating, working, and I was trying to do a lot. And I cannot, if you're multitasking or if you're a manager having to deal with different things at the same time, you cannot focus on a task. And that was just, it was devastating for me. So I thought something wrong with me, you know, and then you go into searching for the inner meaning of, you know, why is it and why can I not transcend this? And is it because I cannot work with responsibility or whatever, right? And I had loads of, you know, discussions with psychologists and different types, etc., until I found human design. And that's the answer. That's just the answer. I'm brilliant in what I do. I can focus very, very good. I can get all my students to focus, etc., and really dive deep. But that's how I operate. So yeah, and then I'm able to transcend this limitation and actually use it as a gift, right? So love this, and we miss you, Chris.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
And
Is there-
this
yes.
point about feeling like something's wrong if nothing's happening. That's a normal state. We, in our cultures right now around the world, we're really sped up. We do a lot of things that are fast and not necessarily seasonal or rhythmic or connected with cycles. And when you know, there's a little teeny cycle, you know, and these little spurts, these nothing, and then a spurt of creativity, of life. But part of this, I think, the elevation or the challenge is in whether we think we have to influence this. Like Natalie was saying, there's something wrong with me. I got to improve this. You know, I got to do something to fix this. Or whether as an influencer, we understand this is a rhythm that we are not able to influence. And therein is the acceptance.
Yeah.
Certain things we don't have control of, and that's okay.
Yeah. Really beautifully said. Thank you, Anna. Anything, Juan Jose, that you would like to add?
No, I agree what Natalie said. It is a beautiful example. I have also examples at home because my wife has this trait. This Sunday was his birthday, and I understand what it means to live with this acceptance, with this. She has also the 360, and I understand what is so. It's now yes, no, and yes, no, and yes. I know what is trying to that, and to go, as Anna said, to go with this fluidity, with this rhythm, because this is a pattern, and this is a fluidity, a flow that if you want to try to change or force, you suffer. But if you can understand and flow with this pattern, you find this moment. This is the opportunity. You find this moment that you can do that when you that you want to do. But if you want to force the do in another moment, it don't work well. Don't
Yes,
work.
exactly. And speaking of going, beyond and the transcendence, I thought this was a beautiful example of the 60, also in quality 4 as well, with the resourcefulness. This is Buzz Aldrin, and also it's unusual because he happens to be a 4-1. That's his public role. So he has an influencer and an authority. And remember, the 4-1 public role is actually very rare. And Buzz Aldrin was an American astronaut. He was one on. He made 3 space walks as the pilot in 1966 in Gemini 12 mission. as well as the lunar module pilot on the 1969 Apollo 11 mission. And he was the mission commander, his mission commander, Neil Armstrong, and him were the first 2 humans to land on the moon. So I thought it was really fascinating to have him as the example of the 60. When we take a look at the life work theme of limitation, you are resourceful and able to maximize the potential hidden within limitations, seeking purpose through risk-taking, nurturing yourself and others in order to test the boundaries of each limitation. So testing the boundary of going into space, I think is one of those big limitations in, again, being able to take a look at that transcendence in accepting that limitation and going beyond that limitation, what we thought was, limited, and not being able to land on the moon and being able to land on the moon. So I think it's just absolutely fascinating. Yeah. All right. And yes,
and
Natalie.
Also,
yeah.
And also an example of the influencer authority, an example in this question of it takes a lot of effort to go to the moon. It could be possible in this moment, in 1969, in this mission of Apollo 11, but not before. Only was in this moment. And this is another example of this, what it means, this opportunity to do that in this moment, in this mission, in this time. For is related with this opportunity of the time, of the moment, of what you can do now or never. Maybe we don't come back to the moon.
Right, exactly. And the resourcefulness that you have to have, and the risk that you have to take, right? And being an individual, it takes a lot of risk. And again, it was in that moment. Yeah, beautifully said, Juan Jose. All right, so that is the 60. And I want to also then prepare you also for where, Natalie has something first. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, just sharing what Lisa shared, because it's beautifully wrapping up, because Lisa says, so it all comes full circle. We end the year, or have this energetic year, in acceptance, so we can start fresh. It's like the 60 really guides us to look in the mirror before we move forward to something new.
Yes, exactly.
And now we go forward, right?
Exactly. And again, that sort of space in between, interesting, Buzz Aldrin as well, right? The space in between, the Earth and the moon, this space between something, wrapping up what is old and moving into what is new. Yeah, really beautifully said, Lisa. Thank you for that.
And the 4-1, which makes a transition.
Yes, exactly. So the 4-1 is really the bridge. When we take a look at the public roles, this public role of the influencer and the authority is really the bridge, moving to externalize, moving from the internal process to the external process. Really fascinating. And with that, we're going to be talking more about the 41 next week. So we'll be in the 41, but we just wanted to make sure, because we are stepping into that, to wish you all a happy Rave New Year. It's the magical 6-year countdown to 2027. So only 6 more years. It's really amazing before we get to 2027. I was looking at this graphic, and the 2 almost looks like a 7, which I thought was kind of, I'm sorry, the 1. The 2021, the 1 almost looks like a 7 as well. It's like, that's kind of interesting, whatever that means. But we will talk more about the Rave New Year. We'll talk more about 2021, stepping into 2021, stepping into trait 41. But again, just kind of taking a look at real quickly, and we'll talk more about this next week, of what this new year has in store for us as well. So again, this stage 5, this is the new start. This is the dreamer. It's all possibilities. And this is the when. The when is the timing and when is the right timing to start the new year. So just like Juan Jose was saying, with what, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, when the right timing is. So if we take a look at when the right timing is, it is going to be on the 21st, 2021 at 19:49 and 33 seconds. All right, so you may want to pay attention to that as we transition into this new year. Again, we can see we're going to have a lot of pressure in this new year. We're going to have some revolutionary pressure. The 19 is about making sure that needs are fulfilled, and the 49 can be very revolutionary. So it's going to be very revolutionary within the communication this year. We also have a lot of pressure here too. So it's going to be a year of a lot of pressure. We'll talk more about this. We'll talk more about this next week, but we can see we have the 61 and the 24, which are also defined this year as well. I thought it was really interesting, for whatever this means, but that it is the 1949 Universal Time is when we transition into 2021 in the Rave New Year, and that 1949 happened to be defined as well. I just thought that to be a fascinating coincidence, for whatever that means. So I think we're going to have a lot of revolutionary new changes coming up in this year. We also have the 41, not only in the core essence, but we also have the 41 in the judge and discipline as well. So like I said, we'll unpack this a little bit more next week in taking a look at what the Rave New Year is. But just to prepare you and let you know that it's coming up, and to wish you a very happy Rave New Year. And like I said, would love to have you join us on the Rave Marathon as well to celebrate. All right, so let's wrap everything up. I forgot that this we had part of this too. So when the timing is right, when you have taken the time to examine why you are here, when you know who the important players are in your life, when you have assessed what inspires you, what moves you forward, and what excites you, and when you realize the how of moving forward unencumbered is simply letting go of the past in what no longer serves you, this is when you're finally complete and are ready to step in to the new experiential cycle with a clean slate. And that's going to be on Thursday, January 21st, 2021. All right. So the 21st in 2021. It'll be exciting to see how it all unfolds. All right. Anything before we wrap up here? And actually, I'll have each of our panelists say something as we wrap up everything. Again, if you want to take a look at your own design or maybe designs of your friends and your family, you can get a free chart on the BG5 Business Institute website to follow along, see if you have it defined or undefined. You can also follow along with our BG5 Live, take a look at what the different traits are each day. By going to our website, bg5businessinstitute.com. You can see BG5 Live. You can also follow and watch the past episodes in our free resource library. And again, we are starting our classes and courses this week. So there's still an opportunity to join the foundation course, join the certification course, etc. So I'll have Natalie and Juan Jose, if you want to talk a little bit about your classes as well before we wrap everything up, would love to hear.
Yeah, so both myself and Juan Jose are starting. Actually, Juan Jose is starting next week. But what is really fun for all of you international students, this Friday, I'm going to do the first foundation course in Dutch. And then Juan Jose is going to do a Spanish webinar. So the Spanish webinar is, the foundation course in Dutch is in the morning in the Netherlands. So, and the Spanish webinar is in mountain time, or how do you say it? 10 a.m. Pacific, right? So in Europe, that's 7 o'clock at night. So you're all welcome to join, and if you speak Spanish. Juan Jose?
Yes, thank you very much, Natalie. Yes, we start. We usually start in BG5 the courses usually in 21st of January 22. I start my course of certification in 27, but this Friday 22. You are invited, all the Spanish people, if I can say in Spanish. Entonces, si hay alguien que esté escuchando español y lo entienda, pues están cordialmente invitados a la conferencia de este viernes. BG5 is also in Spanish, in Dutch, in Italian, in Russian, in German. We are working to spread out this wonderful information.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you speak Spanish or if you speak Dutch, this is a fabulous opportunity to really get a flavor of what these courses are all about in your native tongue, if you happen to speak Spanish or if you happen to speak Dutch. So would love for you to join us with that as well.
And we will be broadcasting them both. So the first class for me and Juan Jose's webinar also on Facebook Live.
Awesome. Awesome. Very exciting. And again, really speaks to the international flair and the international flavor and really the impact that we have around the world. So thank you both for inviting people to check it out and to really get a flavor of what it is, again, in your native tongue, if you speak Spanish or if you speak Dutch. Beautiful.
And thank you, Natalie, to coordinate all of that and make it that possible, make all of this effort possible. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we have come to the end of another BG5 Live, and what I would love to hear from each of our panel. And again, if there's anyone else, either in our Facebook Live or in our Zoom room that would like to add anything, would love to hear from you as well. But to wrap everything up, what are some things to pay attention to this week? What are some things to be aware of this week as we transition from what's old, right, and that pressure, and moving into the pressure of what is new? Would you like to start, Natalie?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can. Yeah, well, again, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of pressure. Even if, you know, we're starting the new year, it's still pressure, right? It's 41. So just breathe. I'm going to repeat this because it's a crazy world out there. Eventually, you know, the light will come, and you know, it will become spring, etc. But breathe and watch what happens. Watch how it transitions into more of, you know, the 41 is also about dreaming, looking forward, etc. So how, you know, things that you see in the news or in the newspaper or whatever, or what the talk on the street, how it will go, you know, more into the new. So.
Yeah, beautifully said, Natalie. Thank you. And how about for you, Juan Jose?
Yes, we are traveling. We are doing our travel in our life, and if we understand and we accept what we are here to do, we can enjoy the ride. But if not, we are protesting. We are annoying. We are very uncomfortable, and we must do the ride. Better enjoy. It's better. We can enjoy. It's better. We can do a good ride.
Yes, exactly. Beautifully said, Juan Jose. And how about for you, Anna?
I would say exhale. Just exhale. You know, all this pressure, you know, we try to cope and move forward, and we're supposed to do something with all this pressure. The pressure is building on purpose. That is a part of the function of this thing. So the pressure is not bad. Exhaling is one way to deal with it. You might, whatever your style of thing is, you might find that you want to allow yourself a little room for peace. For, you know, sit down, you know, have a cup of tea, take a walk, whatever it is, but this pressure is there. You don't have to do anything with it right now. It'll show you what you can do with it. And the other piece is, when this opens up, it's a little bleep. It's a small thing, but the small things make big things happen.
Beautifully said, Anna. And I think that's a really good point too. Again, not making the pressure bad. It's kind of like there's this buildup of pressure, there's build up the pressure, build up of pressure, build up in pressure, right? Until it's able to be released. And it wouldn't be able to be released in the same way if that pressure wasn't there. So it's allowing that pressure to be there. It's accepting the pressure that's there. And with exhaling, with breathing, with enjoying the ride, right? You know, it'll be interesting to see how things change and shift and transform. So stay grounded, right? Stay grounded. This is in Drive and Stamina. So this is about being grounded. So being grounded, accept the pressure, accept what's going on, and again, continue to breathe and allow the change and the mutation to happen in its own time. Just as we follow our own decision-making strategy and the limitation of our own design and our own decision-making strategy, as we talked about today, to make the right decisions at the right time. So again, that pressure has a unique and individual timing. So allow that timing to unfold as it will. And next week we'll be in the new year. So we will talk more about the 41 next week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye.